And I need you to open your heart and believe it's possible. There's so many people that just relate to who we've been, and we allow human experience to dominate our life and subvert or override the grace of God that's here to transform us. Like who I've been isn't who I have to be. I'm not, guys, I'm just going to be raw with this. I'm not damned to be what I was in Adam. I'm going to talk straight to you. I grew up, I didn't have to practice anger. Anger was part of my life because self-centeredness was my motive. So nobody had to teach me to be angry. It just came by instinct. I was angry before I could speak a language. Yeah? You ever see a little one get angry? You ever see a little tiny one swat at an adult? They're precious. I love kids. They just all need born again. But I love them. You take a binky out of a baby's mouth that ain't done working the binky, and you'll see they need born again. Jesus didn't make it that way. Adam made it that way. Come on, nobody had to teach you how to be jealous. You didn't have to study to be disappointed. You didn't have to read a book to learn insecurity. It all came through the fall of man. It's here by sheer instinct, and it all functions through the foundation of self-centeredness. The wellspring is self-centeredness. All those things function out of that. Jesus said, if you come after me, there's one thing you have to do: deny yourself. Why? Because all those dysfunctions flow out of self-centeredness, and we were never created for ourselves. We were created for his image. And he wants to restore that truth in our lives, and it can never function with self-centeredness at the core. If selfishness is your motive, you can be selfish in ministry, you can be selfish in your relationships, you can be selfish in everything if you don't look at that thing and deal with it in prayer and get alone with God. Yeah? You can say all the right things and let self-centeredness subvert everything. There's a lot of hurt in people in the church. It reveals that self-centeredness is very much alive. When I sit on those planes with people and they cry, most of them say, I used to go to church. And they're hurt because of people in church. And when I expose why they're hurt, and it's not so much about what people have done, it's about where you live from, it wrecks people because they realize they're vulnerable in life and they're far from in control. People think they're in control. No, they're being controlled by everything around them, and everything around them is deciding who they are and how they are, and they are far from in control. You're cutting someone off because you're angry at them, so you cut them off, and every day they're fashioning you because you can't forgive and let go and forget, and 20 years later they're still molding your life, and you think you cut them off. And you're a product of what you're angry at. You're a product of what you can't forgive. The thing always has a voice. They ought to just sign their name at the bottom of your portrait. And we think we're winning because we cut them off. Man, stuff just tears me up. There's not one thing we were born into through our natural mama that God created and intended. It was all the fall. It was life separate from God. People say time and time again to me when I talk about emotions versus living by faith, they say, yeah, but Dan, you have to understand, God gave us emotions. Don't you believe for a second he gave you the emotions you grew up with? Adam gave you those, and they're super dysfunctional. And if you live, and they're super self-centered, and if you live by them, you'll be way deceived. And if you carry them into your Christianity, it'll be a roller coaster. You know how many people live by feelings instead of live by truth? Do you know how we've just become accustomed just living by feelings? If I don't feel good, I'm not good. If I feel like I have a bondage, I need prayer. Instead of just lift your hands, Father, I thank you for the freedom that comes through Christ. I thank you that you love me. God, I thank you that you're in me. Holy Spirit, I welcome you, and I thank you you'll live through me and love through me today, and this is going to be amazing. You see how aggressive I am in it? Because I've been living this way for a very long time. And feelings have no voice in my life whatsoever if they're not edifying. I'm an emotional roller coaster. You can tell when I preach, I'm like, it's just, but it's all in the name of life. It's all to promote him. Nothing's detrimental. Nothing's at the cost of you or your identity. The emotions that I function in, they all bring life. They're all encouraging. They're all going with the flow of where I'm believing and what I'm thinking and seeing. They're all in line. Everything's in agreement.